this will be a thing of the past. Not getting stuck on Frozen Ever After. No, the projection faces on Frozen Ever After. And I consider that a very, very big win. Now, I feel like I've been an outspoken critic on projection face animatronics for a very long time on this channel, especially on Frozen Ever After, because it's just so uncanny. Why are their faces glowing? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense story-wise, unless that's part of Elsa's powers, but even if that were the case, it's still doesn't look very good. And would you look at that, we must have entered Q4 of the fiscal year or something, because Disney has been making a lot of announcements this month, specifically in October. One regarding these projection faces. That's very, very good. Very encouraging to me for the future of the Disney parks. And earlier this month, on October 8th, Disney Parks blog put out a very interesting article. One talking about Zootopia, Better Zootgether, the show that is replacing It's Tough to Be a Bug underneath the Tree of Life at Disney's Animal Kingdom, but also announcing that Frozen Ever After would be receiving brand new audio animatronics. Quick tangent, quick side note. Just a funny little anecdote I'd never heard before. The animatronics in Frozen Ever After are very fluid. They're very important to the storytelling of the ride, as are most audio animatronics. Elsa is the main character of this sort of attraction, and her movements are very, very important. She casts her magical ice spells with her hands, so her hand movements have to be very fluid and very graceful when she casts her spells. So a ton of work went into getting her wrists just right, so that she would be able to cast these spells as we rode past on our boat. And everything else in the ride was scaled to match Elsa's wrists. Just her wrists, so that everything made sense around how big the robotics, the machinery was in her wrist. I think that's really funny. Everything you see in the ride, maybe even down to the queue, probably not, but all of the show scenes are all scaled to the Queen's wrist. I just think that's really, really funny. That's really cool attention to detail that I would only expect from Disney. Now, the audio animatronics used in Frozen Ever After were the first sort of iteration of these 3D printed, fully electric audio animatronics that we see more commonly now in rides like Tiana's Bayou Adventure, or even Frozen Ever After, or the Tangled ride over in Hong Kong and Tokyo Disney. And because they're the Gen 1 sort of animatronics, they are a bit lacking compared to their twins overseas, so Disney is replacing them. They're upgrading them with the newer audio animatronics. Which means, my friends, that the projection faces are finally dead at Frozen Ever After. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, that's a different story. I don't think they're as intrusive there as they are on Frozen. I don't think they're going to get rid of them anytime soon at the Mine Train. But over at Epcot, done. We're through with those glowing faces at last. And although I will miss the funny videos and pictures that the projection faces have produced over the years, I mean, just come on, look at this. Part of me's gonna miss this. I won't miss this, though. This one's honestly actually kind of scary. I am so happy that they have heard the feedback over these animatronics and are updating them. I think Disney should probably actually do more of this. Go back to older attractions and plus them where you can. Make them better. You can open new attractions, sure. We have a bunch on the way. All of Cars, we have Coco at California Adventure, Infinity Defense, but going back and updating older rides, not changing them. Like the Bride update, that's a good update, but it was a change. They didn't go back and fix Constance's projections. It's a completely different thing. But going back and updating these old scenes, modernizing these attractions, I think if Disney does it the right way, it could be really, really cool. Frozen Ever After was a big one personally for me because those faces freak me out, but I think it'd be really cool to go back to other attractions. Say, for example, Mickey's PhilharMagic. They added that Coco scene recently, and the animation is leaps and bounds ahead of what the original show contained, and it's sort of jarring to go from the early 2000s animation to the modern 2020s animation of Coco back to that early 3D style. If Disney wanted to go back and reanimate all of the original scenes from PhilharMagic to bring them up to snuff with the Coco segment, I don't think anybody would complain about that. It doesn't change the show in any way, it just makes it better. I'm sure they're making new audio animatronics, updated audio animatronics for the Indiana Jones ride going in the Tropical Americas area at Animal Kingdom. Pop some of those in the version at Disneyland. They could do these things, and they'd make the rides better. I think they should do these things. Think something more along the lines of this. but definitely more dressed up. And all of these changes, all of the audio animatronic updates will be taking place in actually just a couple of months. Early 2026 is what Disney stated in the Disney Parks blog. So I'm very excited to see Elsa's wrists back in action on Frozen Ever After in 2026. I meant like the audio animatronic fluidity that they based the entire rest of the scale of the ride on, okay? Also in 2026, I called it, I'm the one who said it, okay? I said it. Muppets Rockin' Rollercoaster, or the Rockin' Rollercoaster starring the Muppets, will open in the summertime. This is going to be a very quick flip. We're talking 4 to 5, 6 months. Rockin' Rollercoaster starring Aerosmith will close early 2026, and the Muppets will open just a few short months later. And Disney has also alluded to the fact, my friends, that the Skipper and Penguin audio animatronic that we see in the pre-show might not be the only audio animatronics that the ride has to offer to show us. And that has my interest. If I were a betting man, if I were a gambling man, I would put my bets on an animatronic figure, or figures, I guess I should say, of the entire Electric Mayhem at the end of the ride. Either in the tunnel, where our ride vehicles currently stop and slow down very, very quickly, or in the post-show sort of area right after you exit, before you scan to get your pictures, that spot. I would absolutely love a Kermit animatronic. I think Kermit goes without saying, but Statler and Waldorf would also be wonderful additions. It wouldn't be a Muppets experience, a Muppet ride or show without Statler and Waldorf heckling from somewhere in the ride, anywhere. Meanwhile, back to Epcot, we are headed to the very end of the park, the end of the World Showcase, to the France Pavilion, I guess I should say, the back of the World Showcase, to Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. Now, I personally enjoy this attraction. I think it's a really fun mix of screens and practical sets. I wish there was a bit more practicality in the ride, and maybe someday soon there will be. That's going to tie into the news I'm going to talk about here in a second, but first things first, they are getting rid of the 3D effect on this ride. Remy's Ratatouille Adventure will no longer be 3D. They're getting rid of the 3D effect on November 10th. The ride will be down for 3 days, the 10th through the 13th, and when it reopens on the 13th, no more glasses, no more 3D. It's going to be a 2D film experience. Whether or not that's a good thing, I've seen lots of people saying that this is an improvement. I was actually, believe it or not, kind of hesitant at first. I thought the 3D on Remy's Ratatouille Adventure worked pretty well, better than Flight of Passage for sure. That movie is so blurry still to this day, I can't stand it. It hurts my eyes to watch. But I always thought, while not perfect over at Remy's, it did help with the immersion for me, at least personally a little bit, but everybody I've talked to seems pretty happy with this change. Disney has said, quote, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure will experience a short downtime, November 10th through the 13th, 2025, and will return with enhanced digital visuals and clearer imagery projected in 2D. Okay, so I do like that. I'm assuming in order to compensate for the loss of the 3D sort of depth that you would get from seeing the film in the third dimension, it's gonna be way clearer now, so everything would look more real. But Disney also added, and this part's kind of interesting to me, Remy's fans will spot new props and lighting enhancements when they are added to the queue and attraction over the next few months. Interesting. New lighting and effects added to the queue is pretty interesting to me. I love the queue for that ride. The music is wonderful. The outdoor cityscape of Paris is great. The little studio, I love it all. But more physical sets and lighting in the actual ride itself. I don't know to what extent we can expect this to be. I know they sort of made these changes over at Disneyland Paris already, but I really want to see what these new physical props and lighting enhancements will entail, because it could just be small things here and there to sort of make up for the lack of 3D. It could also be something completely different, something bigger. I guess we'll just have to keep our eyes out. It's not going to be all on November 13th also, by the way. I guess November 14th is when it reopens. It will be over the coming months after the ride reopens next month. Like I said, going back and improving attractions, not changing them, but just plussing them, making them better where Disney is able. I like this investment into already existing attractions. We're getting a ton of new stuff, but going back and changing, maybe improving the things that didn't work too well on the first pass is honestly kind of refreshing. It makes me interested to see if they'll update the projectors, since they're doing it on Remy already, on rides like Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I think that would be a really nice change, upscale that a bit. Or maybe even something on Rise of the Resistance. I know that ride uses a lot of practical sets, but there are also a lot of screens being used, so an update to the screens or the projectors, or even some of the backdrops, I think would be awesome. What else do we have? What else? Rapunzel's Tower is being added to the Storybook Land canal boats at Disneyland. I always love a brand new scene being added. I'm wondering if the miniature will have any sort of audio coming from it or any sort of practical effects built into it. Some of the other miniatures have audio that plays from the respective movies as you go past them. It'd be really cool to hear something coming from the tower. Not a huge update per se, but definitely one I thought was worth mentioning. We finally have actual pictures from inside the Tree of Life for the brand new show Zootopia Better Zoogether. See, I told you we'd talk about it later. I didn't forget. And the animatronics look, of course, very, very good. Or I guess the animatronic. It's this guy. The leopard? His name is Benjamin Clawhauser, and he is a cheetah. This will be the main animatronic of the show. But the animatronic aside, I'm really interested to see what Disney does with a modern 4D show. It's been a very long time since Disney has done any sort of 4D show. One could count Flight of Passage as 4D because you do get sprayed with water and you get your sense alongside the film that you're watching that is 3D, but that's also more of a simulator. I guess a 4D show would be sitting down in a theater and watching a presentation rather than being in some sort of ride vehicle, which Flight of Passage does have. That would be the difference in my head, at least. I know it won't be, but I really would love it if the show was still just as scary and unnerving as It's Tough to Be a Bug, with the spiders descending from the ceiling and the spray can and Hopper. I think that would be awesome, but I get it. You don't want to have the children screaming and running out of the theater as often. Maybe some more spooky moments in the show would be neat. But I want to see what a 2025 4D show looks like from Walt Disney Imagineering. What sort of effects are we going to see? Oh, yeah, that's right. I guess we should talk about it, right? It would only make sense to talk about it. Everything that I've talked about in the video thus far has been the tickle part of the classic Disney tried and true method of the punch and tickle. Now, the tickle is the usually good news that is announced after the punch, that is the Disney price increases. They announce these price increases every year, and every year people pretend to be surprised and outraged by them. It does happen very, very predictably, though. You can see when it's going to happen, and price increases are never fun. Nobody likes a price increase. You're paying more to go to the Disney parks, Disneyland, or Disney World, if you even get to go at all. Sometimes people are priced out, and that's horrible. That would be the punch. The tickle would be announcing some cool new features coming to attractions, or some new attractions for your troubles. Maybe we'll get a new scene added to the Storybook Land canal boats, or an update to Remy's Ratatouille adventure, or brand new animatronics in Frozen Ever After. That is the tickle. That is the sorry to raise the prices on you again and getting rid of live entertainment. That's not great either. And also getting rid of early park entry at Disneyland. That's no good. Reducing park hours also not great. But Elsa has a real face now. So, I mean, sometimes that can even out for people. Other times, it's not worth it. Other times, people don't care about the price increases. They've got me. I'm going to pay for the annual pass. As far as I can tell, no matter what, unless Disney really does something that I don't agree with. Think Haunted Mansion. Think Toy Story overlay of the Haunted Mansion. Disney loves Toy Story. They're making a fifth one. Do you know they're making a fifth Toy Story movie? What are we... The story's done. Some of the price increases aren't bad. The price of my Sorcerer Pass to Walt Disney World only increased about $20, but the price of my Believe Key for Disneyland increased $100. They could really just charge whatever they wanted for these magic keys. I think they would continue to sell out. I really do think there isn't a ceiling for Disneyland. There certainly is for Disney World, but not at Disneyland. Are these price increases and cutbacks in other areas like ops and, park hours worth it? I mean, it depends on who you ask. Would I rather have projection-face animatronics on Frozen Ever After or the Golden Horseshoe review back at Disneyland? I know I'm kind of lame for saying this, but that's a really tough answer for me. I might actually lean more towards getting the Golden Horseshoe review back. Call me crazy. Or the Doctor Strange show at Avengers Campus, or any of the shows at Avengers Campus. Live entertainment is important, but that's not the point I'm trying to make here. The point I'm trying to make here is that this is in direct response to Disney increasing those prices. And the question I want to ask you, my friend, my viewer, in the comments below, let me know, are these changes, these improvements to existing rides worth it for you? Everyone's different, so it might just be kind of worth it to ask, are you okay with this year's Punch and Tickle, or is it a little bit underwhelming for you? I'm sure we'll have even more announcements, like we have Soarin' Over America coming next year. Things at that scale. What are your thoughts behind all of these changes as they stand individually? Are you excited for them? And then also separately, what are your thoughts regarding these changes in response to Disney raising those prices? I want to hear from you all down in the comments below, because I do think they could use a little work on the park ops end of things. Things are getting a little out of control over there. I did not end up getting that shirt, by the way, although I did think about it. We are headed towards some exciting times in the future of the Disney parks. We are also headed towards some expensive times in the future of Disney parks. Like I said, let me know down in the comments, because it's a very interesting question. It can go either way. People can feel different ways about it. Let me know what you think of the changes, though. Do the changes to the rides, the fun stuff, does that look good to you? Let me know. I'm going to see you at the end card. The end card is going to be actually in this direction this week. I moved the end card. I thought the room could use some sprucing up. You know, I needed to do something about the room. Something needed to change, so I moved the end card over here. So I think you're going to like it. Let's go over here, and I'll show you the new end card. Ta-da! What do you think? I think it's okay. It looks very similar to the old one. I will grant you that. But it is a bit new because we're on the other side of the room now. Hey everyone, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. And if you're new around here and you want more videos like this, be sure to hit the subscribe button. It goes a long way to let me know what kind of videos the people out there on the internet are interested in now. Of course, as always, the names that you see scrolling past on the left-hand side of your screen are the names of my supporters over at patreon.com/offhanddisney. If you want early video access to videos before they ever go live on YouTube and your name in the credits, as you see here, obviously, at the end of the last video of every month, please use the link in the description down below, and even just $1 a month will get your name on the list, it'll get your name in the credits, and you'll get early access to those videos. However, if that doesn't sound interesting to you, if you'd rather do something completely different, I understand. You can follow me for free on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. I am at Offhand Disney on all of those websites. But that, everyone, is the end of this week's video. I just realized this is the Halloween special. No, I think I could probably do a Halloween special next week, although it is on Friday, Halloween is, so maybe I'll have to have it go live on Friday instead of Saturday, or Thursday instead of Friday, so I can stay out there and everyone can watch it for the spooky evening that is Halloween on Friday this year. I'm rambling at this point. Thanks again, all of you, everyone here, for watching this video. I'll see you next week for something spooky. Goodbye.